If your diet needs 47 ingredients, you've already lost the battle. You don't need super niche carnivore diet foods or some strange complex diet that only allows you to eat foods that begin with a certain letter or come from a certain source. You just need foods that support muscle growth, hormones, energy production and recovery on a consistent basis. This is the exact 10 food list I fall back on that I know drives progression even when life gets busy. Build your diet around these staples and you'll already be 90% of the way there to building a great physique. Starting with protein, as protein is the most important, number one is red meat. When choosing foods, we need to think about nutrient profiles rather than just macros alone, and red meat is one of the most nutrient-dense protein sources you can find. It provides complete protein alongside iron, zinc and B12, which are all directly involved in strength, recovery and energy levels. You don't need to eat it every day, but including it at least a few times per week covers bases that other foods simply won't. Second is, of course, whole eggs. Eggs combine protein and fats into one simple food, but they're also rich in fat-soluble vitamins and are cheap, versatile and easy to prepare. If you tolerate them well, there's no reason to avoid eggs. They're one of the most efficient whole foods available. If you're in a diet phase and can't afford to have slightly higher fat content, then you can avoid the yolk and just have the egg white. But if possible, the egg yolk is where all the good stuff is. So I'd include these daily if possible. Remember, testosterone is synthesized from cholesterol and eggs are a key source of cholesterol. Third is a good quality whey protein, and for one reason alone, convenience. It's well digested for most, and if you're buying from a reliable source, they usually have a pretty strong amino acid profile. But most importantly, it removes friction when your schedule is full. Sure, you can't bring a can of tuna into the office, but you can bring a whey protein shake. If you're busy and training hard, whey isn't a shortcut, it's a practical tool to ensure protein intake stays consistent. Number 4, in a similar vein, is a good 0% Greek yogurt. Easy again to digest for most, and provides a little bit of variety from the rest of the protein sources, which are predominantly meat-based. It provides calcium for bone health, and works when appetite is low or time is tight. It's also one of the easiest ways to add protein without turning every meal into a cooking session. The last protein source on the list is salmon, which takes us quite nicely onto the fats section. Salmon provides high quality protein alongside omega-3 fats, which support recovery and inflammation control. You don't need it daily, but including it once or twice a week, again very similar to red meats, is an easy way to cover fats that are otherwise hard to get from a typical diet. So moving on to fat sources, we've already touched on salmon and whole eggs. However, avocado is another simple source I use on a daily basis. Again, we're considering nutrient profiles here on top of purely macro content, and avocado is a fantastic source of mono unsaturated fats which support overall cardiovascular health and help keep our energy levels stable when calories are higher. It's also rich in potassium, which plays a key role in muscle contraction, hydration and blood pressure regulation. These are all relevant if you train hard and are prone to sweating, and on top of that, avocado provides fibre and fat-soluble vitamins like vitamin E, making it useful for blunting that hunger hormone and long-term diet adherence without relying on processed oils. Secondly, in this section I'd include an 85% dark chocolate, or higher if the bitter taste doesn't deter you too much. Dark chocolate is an interesting food for numerous reasons. Not only is it a good fat source, but it also shows strong evidence in reducing cardiovascular disease, reducing blood pressure, and it's also promising with regards to cognitive function and nitric oxide availability. For these reasons alone, I actually eat dark chocolate every day. Evidence suggests anywhere between 20 to 40 grams is a sweet spot, but again, I'd stay away from anything that's perhaps below 70% in terms of concentration. Moving to carbs, the most reliable carb source is going to be white rice. You've probably seen the cream of rice products bodybuilders include, and this is purely because rice is such an easily digestible carb source. It fuels training performance without causing gut issues and allows precise control over calories. Historically, generic health advice has always been aimed towards promoting brown rice. However, I've never been a fan, purely from a digestive perspective and also from a taste perspective. Secondly, fruit provides carbohydrates, micronutrients and fibre with very little downside. It's easy to eat, portable and works well around training or as a dessert replacement. For most people, fruit improves diet quality without adding complexity. And it's an easy way of getting in micronutrients for people that don't love vegetables, which, let's face it, is the case for quite a large percentage of the population. The final food on the list isn't really a food, but it's salt. Salt is essential for hydration, nerve function and training performance. If you train hard and sweat, avoiding salt works against you. Low salt diets and high output training don't coexist well together, and most people underconsume it without realizing. Get a good quality salt and be generous with it throughout the day. Just make sure you're drinking enough water to support this. You don't need complexity to build an impressive physique. You need foods you can realistically adhere to, meals you don't overthink, and a system that holds up when life gets busy. If this simplified your thinking, that's the point of this channel. And if you want the full system that ties training, nutrition, and habits together for free, check the link in my description that will give you this in the form of 8 bite-sized lessons across 8 days. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.